Hello everyone and welcome back to another Life as an Aspie with me, Natalie Sherlock. So today we're going to be talking about neurodiversity and faith. Now I am a neurodivergent person of faith. I'm Christian and I just wanted to talk about the topic because I find it interesting. And I find that a lot of people, possibly think, oh, if you're neurodivergent, you can't be a Christian or whatever, which is not true, because I and many others are, both neurodivergent and people of faith. So let's get into it. So I'll just talk about my personal journey, with my faith, I guess. So I grew up in a not overly religious environment. I didn't attend church every Sunday, anything like that. I was christened when I was a baby into the C of E Church, Church of England, and I grew up with faith. I always, I've always believed. And of course, when I was 3, when Dad died, Mum told me that he had gone to heaven and such like. So, I had that I was given that sort of framework, but it wasn't until I was 17 that I really got serious about it. I went to Austria in Europe. Well, you know where Austria is. And went on a school ski trip. I've told you the story of me going skiing before. That ended, not very favourably for me. So I went to Austria on this ski trip, and the hotel that we stayed in had a embroidery of the Last Supper. We had fish on a Friday, and I was so taken by it that I decided I wanted to be Catholic. I wanted a bit. I felt like I needed more. But it wasn't until the year after that I actually converted. So I became a Catholic the Easter Saturday of 2015. So 11 years ago soon, which was an incredible experience. And I really enjoyed it. And I learnt, I learnt you have to sort of go to an instruction, like you have to take sort of instruction before you become confirmed and etc. So I very much enjoyed that. I used to be very active in the church. I used to go every Sunday. But I haven't, only since the pandemic, when I couldn't, when it was not, you weren't allowed to go, because obviously the communion and everyone being in the same close proximity, and the giving of the communion, etc. You can't really take communion from 6 feet away. priest is flicking the wafer into your mouth from 6 feet away, it would have been absolute carnage. So I stopped going for the purposes of we weren't allowed to go, and I sort of never went back. And it is a shame, and it's not because I less faithful than I was before. It's just that I don't know. I feel like I'm so. I feel like I haven't been for so long that I would, everyone would stare at me or whatever. Which is a silly thought, I know, but I should just go back. But yeah, and also, our lives, we get comfortable, we get lazy, we just think, oh, I can't be bothered to wake up that early on a Sunday, which is terrible. It's really, I feel bad about it, but yeah, but I don't think you need to go to church to be a good Christian. I think it's all about how you treat others. To me, fundamentally, it's, yes, of course, it's the belief in God and the Holy Trinity, but essentially, being a good person, you can be a good person, because I know many people that, in the past or, in my life now, that, go to church regularly, but they're not a nice person. So I think who's more likely to, be in God's favour? The person that goes to church every Sunday, but, yells at everyone or is mean to everyone, or the person that doesn't go but is nice, and kind to people and helps people. And I'm not perfect. I admit that I am a flawed human being because I am a human being. I am mortal. I do bad things. I have my own personal struggles that I'm trying to overcome, but it's very difficult. But one of the things that it has taught me is that you can overcome things. Faith has helped me to overcome every single bad thing that's happened to me in my life, and I've always remained faithful, like Job. So if you're unaware, Job was a man that in the Bible, it's he I hate saying character in the Bible because it sort of takes away from the truth. It sort of takes away from the fact that it's they were. I mean, I believe in the Bible what it says, that it's true. But anyway, Job, he was a man that was very faithful, and he lost everything. The enemy took everything from him. He took his crops, his health, his sons, everything from him was taken. But he remained faithful. He didn't sort of turn away from God because all these bad things have happened to him. And it's just like me. I've had loads of rubbish stuff happen, but I've always known that, like it's for, there's always a reason for these things, even if you can't see them now, if you can't see them in 20 years. But one day you will see, oh, that is why that happened. Like, because I've worked out sort of why, seeing the good in all the bad things that have happened to me. Well, most of them, not all of them. There are some things that I still can't sort of fathom why. I don't know why they happened, but most things, like if that hadn't have happened, then I wouldn't be the person I am today, or I wouldn't be able to help so many people, like all of the losses that I've had, loved ones, I mean. But yeah, so I've always sort of thought that I look on the positive. I put a positive spin on everything. I try to, anyway. But like, you can go too far with that. It's like toxic positivity. And the best example of that I can give is the little dog in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, because he has like loads of bad stuff happen to him, and he's like so super positive, and that it's like in a way that is not healthy. Sometimes you have to acknowledge that something bad has happened, and you have to process that, and that's how you move on. And like, there's a saying that God only gives you things that you're strong enough to handle. And yeah, I think I believe that so far anyway, because I have got through, and everyone in this world listening to this video has already got through every single bad day, worst day of your life so far. You've survived every worst day of your life so far. And yeah, there will be others. There will be more worse days. There will be days where you're sick, days when people you love are sick, days when people you love will pass on, and etc. But what you've got to remember is that God is there through it all and there to help you, and you just have to ask. And there are many people that sort of think there's a contradiction between neurodiversity and faith, because of the idea that we are all logical thinkers, and that always, like, believing in something isn't logical. But to me, it is logical. To me, it is more logical than something that is literally 1 in 10 to the power of 200 and 1 in 10 to the power of 600. And that is the odds of everything happening just by accident. Those are the odds. So just to put that into perspective, 1 to the power of 10, 1 in 10 to the power of 600 is 1 or 10 with 6. Well, there's 1 in 10 with 600 zeros on the end, right? 600 zeros. That is not even a quantifiable number. We don't have a name for that number. We just say to the power of, which means times by. So the chances, the likelihood of everything happening by accident is 1 in 10 with 600 zeros on the end, right? If you wrote 600 zeros, like, it would just, you'd be knackered at the end, and you'd like probably run out of ink, or you probably only if you had like about that much ink left. But anyway, it's astronomical. The likelihood is astronomical. And another thing is the complexities of creation, everything around us, our brains, our eyeball, the human eyeball is the most, one of the most complex things that exists on this planet. And to think that just these things just no it has to have been designed. There has to be an intelligent designer that came up with that. And another mind-blowing thing for me is that the fact that tigers are orange is evidence to me that there is a designer, because tigers are orange because what they eat, so the things that they eat, see orange as green. How would a thing without a brain how would it know that? Like, how would I hate to use that E word, but I'm going to anyway, evolution. How would that know to make that tiger orange because what it eats sees orange as green? It does not make a lick of sense to me that could happen. It has to have had a designer. There has to be a designer. And there are other logical, there are other neurodivergent people that are people of faith too. My favourite example of this is the quiz genius Anne Hegarty. She is a person of faith and neurodivergent. And I do look up to her a lot. Because, she's like, we have a lot in common, we're both Catholic, both autistic, and both love quizzing. So, yeah, if I was ever on the chase, I would love to verse Anne. Although I probably would want to, strategically want to verse Paul Sinha, because he has the most, we would have the most chance of winning if we had him. But yeah, I love Anne Hegarty. She's brilliant. And this is another thing that humanists argue, that people like Darwin and Newton and Einstein, all believers, which is hilarious to me. They oh yeah, Newton, he believed. He said that that the human thumb is evidence that it literally, and Einstein said that there's there's no such thing as darkness. It's just the absence of light, and there's no such thing as evil. Oh no, it's just the absence of God's love in men's hearts. So that was from Einstein, and he was an incredibly clever man who gave us the theory of relativity. So E equals mc squared. Which is all very sciencey, and yeah, so it's all got a bit technical, this video, so I apologise for that. But yeah, no, going back to my personal, faith, I just think that that's another thing. My song, and he's given me God has given me all of these talents, like to write songs, to write poetry. The song that my song, One More Sunset, I truly believe that I was given that as a gift from God, because I've tried writing songs in the past, and they've just been terrible. So that is the only one that I genuinely like. I genuinely think is half decent, and it's the only one I can listen to without cringing. So and my artwork, I'm actually I've got an incredibly special painting in mind that I I want to create, and I just pray that I have the abilities to pull it off, because it's very difficult. It's going to be very technical, very painting, difficult to do, but I will show you it when I have finished, so that you can see it, and you'll be hopefully you'll like it. So and one more thing that I wanted to mention before I go, because it's quite a long video. Yeah, so my personal opinions on like the sort of, because I am fully in support of every aspect of the LGBTQA plus community, and I have reasons, because people say that, oh, it's condemned by the church, but actually, if you read it properly, it's not. And people that say, oh, you can't be this or that, then they're not, or people that sort of shun people for being a member of the LGBTQA plus community are not truly, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the, it's more, you're going to be more favoured by God if you are nice to people, and are, and the only other thing I was going to say was my personal image of God is, he's not a great big man in the sky with a great big beard. That's not what he is. I say he, I mean they. Yahweh. Let's use God's name. God's real name is Yahweh. So Yahweh. Yahweh is a just energy. Is a great, huge, infinite energy source, and that is where the all of the how he's made everything, but is also an intelligence, a great big computer, basically, and that's how that's how he is able to answer prayers. I mean, you think of Google, you type into Google something and it comes up with an answer. Doesn't matter how many people are also typing into Google a question at that moment, they will all get the answer to their question. And it's like my auntie had a dream of my dad once, and he said that it's like a mainframe. We're all connected, like a network, and that he imparted a piece of himself in us, our souls, And yeah, so that because like a lot of people have like confused, I think that's where some of the confusion comes from, where people think he's a great big man in the sky, which is, you know, very difficult to believe. And that's why so many neurodivergent individuals don't believe, because they think, oh, that's impossible. How can there be a great big giant man in the sky? But it's not. He is a Yahweh is energy, great big energy source, ball of energy that can also, you know, be manipulate himself to change into whatever form that that he decides. This is getting very technical now, and confusing, but it is a confusing subject. It is a very difficult subject, because well, you know, nobody, you know, truly knows any of these answers. And of course, the way we can answer these questions is by reading the scripture. Because, yeah, that is our way, that is our answer sheet, essentially. And like, and one more thing, of course, is Jesus. He it's coming up to Resurrection Sunday. Well, I say it's coming up. It's not that far away. We're not that far away from it now. And I use that. I use that term very aptly because Easter, you know, the word Easter actually is the name of a pagan. It comes from the name of a pagan deity. So really, we shouldn't really call it Easter. But yeah, there are oh no, how many was it? It's like 68,000 records, written records of Jesus in his 33 years on this planet. And in like you know, I think we only have like, I think it's like 26 or 20 something records of Alexander the Great, that he existed. We all believe in Alexander the Great. So yeah, Jesus was definitely here, and he fulfilled scripture, so he's definitely the Son of God. So yeah, and literally when he was baptized, the sky opened, and God said, "This is my Son." So, you know, what more do you want? So yeah, yeah, it's got a bit all over the place, this video, so I apologise for that, but I am going to upload it anyway, because I feel like I want to, and I just wanted to yeah, discuss that with you. And I hope you have a blessed day, and I will sign off now as we reach the half-an-hour mark of this video, and say goodbye, God bless, and continue being awesome.